And we are back with another episode of Straight Out the Lou. As always, I'm Dylan, joined by Luke and Chris. And today, we have a special guest in Miss Alex Voight-Shelley, member of the Bates golf team. Welcome, Alex.
Hi, nice to be here.
We will be discussing the Masters with Alex today as our first segment, as Hideki Matsuyama won the Masters in the green jacket that comes with the victory on Sunday. Last night, NBA, Steph Curry, 53 points, broke Wilt Chamberlain's Warriors scoring record of 17,818 points. We will discuss. In the MLB, the Sox are hot, and the MLB power rankings are a joke. And then in the NHL, to wrap things up, we have Taylor Hall. Big blockbuster trade. Taylor Hall, former MVP, going from the Buffalo Sabres to the Boston Bruins. We will discuss. All right, so on Sunday, Hideki Matsuyama became a Masters champion. Great stuff, great stuff. Great look for Japan. Alex, what does it mean to win the Masters? How big is that tournament or golf competition, whatever you want to call it? How big is it to win that?
I mean, the Masters is like the biggest major tournament in the PGA Tour. It's one of the biggest deals. All of the biggest best golfers have ever won that tournament, like Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Tiger's won it a bunch of times. So for Hideki Matsuyama to win it, to be the first Japanese player ever to win it, is a really, really big deal. So.
Yeah, for sure. It's a first Japanese golfer. That's wild. That's crazy.
Yeah. I was going to ask more about that. I talked a lot about that on the broadcast, especially at the end when it looked like he had it all locked up. So what does that mean for the growth of golf, not only in Japan and around the world, that he was able to win?
I mean, I think it just shows that, like, anyone can do it, really. Because he's been on the tour for about 10 years now. This is his 10th Masters. So he's been working really, really hard to get here. And I think it just shows that, like, for anybody who wants to work that hard to get to the PGA Tour, that it's a possibility to win the Masters. If you know how to play the course, if you played it enough times and you know what you're doing as a golfer, and if you just stay patient, play well, it's a possibility. And that, I think that's a really cool thing for him to show.
I wanted to ask about the youngster, Will Zalatoris. He played exceptional throughout the tournament, and I really thought he was going to have a chance there maybe at the end, but it seemed like from holes like 6 to for 13 there, he kind of had some missed opportunities. I don't know what you saw in his game, but what did you think about him this weekend?
I thought he was great. I mean, to be that young and to have that be your first Masters and to get second, that's absolutely incredible. I don't remember the last time. I feel like I've heard somewhere that it was like the 70s that like a person who's like, it was his first Masters ever like got that far or won or something. But that's, I mean, it's such a big deal for somebody who's his first Masters. And I think what I really liked about his game this week is that obviously, I mean, he was excited about it, and he took his time. You know, he didn't have the experience. He didn't really know completely how to play the course, but he played smart, and that was really what brought him up to become second this week, I think.
So I'm not the most well-versed in golf. So what do you mean, like, what would it mean to be playing smart, like you were just saying with the player that we brought up? What would that look like?
For me, playing smart is just making sure that you don't really take any chances with, like, maybe going back and forth in between a shot, like making sure you can hit the green into, putting yourself in a place where you're in the middle of the fairway, and then you can get to the green on your second shot. Play green in regulation, because this course, especially Augusta, is a par course. You want to make sure that you make par if you're not making birdie, because if you go any higher, you have the possibility to get doubles, triple bogeys, especially on a tight course. So like if you're not confident with your driver, like a couple of players were, the smart thing to do would be to hit a 3-wood so that you're in the fairway and you're not in the woods. Because once you're, in the woods, it's really hard to make par. So what I liked about Will Zalatoris is that he played that green in regulation, and he put his ball on the green where, like in the center of the green, he wasn't too aggressive until the last couple of days, which I think gave him a lot of confidence, first of all, to play really well the first 2 days because he played so smart, so that he could really go for the pin and like make those putts by the end of the week to put him up there.
Yeah, so you were just mentioning about issues that some golfers have run into on the Masters, missing par, hitting over in bogeys and double bogeys. One of those guys is Jordan Spieth, who's famous for his 12-hole quadruple bogey. What did you think of him this weekend? I thought he played all right. I was a little disappointed with his start on Sunday. I thought he was going to be able to maybe contend a little bit more so, and it kind of seemed to be a pity third-place finish, but I thought he played the back nine pretty well. Yeah,
I agree. I think coming off of a win last week gave him a lot of confidence in his game. And the one thing I love about Jordan Spieth is that even though he hasn't been playing great in like the past couple of years, he loves this tournament and he knows how to play it. So he has that confidence going in, first of all. And something that I noticed about him first day is on 9, he hit his first shot straight into the woods. And then he decided to take a iron shot and like try to pitch it through, and he ended up like double bogeying the 9th hole, which is something that's not good, you don't want to do. But he came back and he birdied the 10th, and that's something that I think he's done really well throughout his Masters career, especially this tournament, is that he comes back really, really well because he wants it. And so I think Jordan Spieth is really on the come of his game. I don't think he's 100% there yet. But I think he played really well this week for not playing too well in past tournaments. And I think we can see a lot more of him in the future.
Yeah, I have a question about Xander Schauffele here. Cause I'm a big fan of Xander Schauffele, which is a little bit of a roller coaster ride. I would argue he might be the most consistent player on tour in terms of where he finishes. But he just seems to always come up short in these majors, just short. So, and we saw it again on 16. So when do you think that he's going to be able to break through, if he does? And what do you think the problem is for him coming up short?
I think you're right. He is one of the most consistent players on tour. He has to find a way to push himself to the finish because he's a great first couple of day player. He's not such a great final day player. And that happens a lot. I mean, we see it with Rory McIlroy a lot when he was trying to win the Masters a couple years ago, played great the first 3 days, totally screwed it up the last day. And I think that for this tournament in particular, Schauffele was only 2 down the last 3 holes. So maybe the pressure got to him a little bit. Maybe he thought that he had a shot at winning and then just didn't really was maybe a little overconfident on 16 because he hit a club that was too short to make that green, which is why he ended up in the water. I think if he had played it the way Matsuyama did, played safe, got it on the green, he would have had a better shot for getting playing more holes for a playoff or possibly winning. So I think the thing with him is that he just needs to get it in his mind that he has to stay consistent the last couple of holes and the last day, because because golf is just as much of a mind game as it is a physical game. So if he staying in that zone of just being focused, not getting ahead of yourself, that's really, really important. And I think that he maybe got a little bit ahead of himself, really tried to push too hard, and that's where he made the mistake on 16.
I don't speak for all of us here, but I would feel that the most disappointing performer this weekend was Dustin Johnson. Goes out, doesn't make the cut. you think that's going to be a real motivating factor for him going forward for future tournaments this year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think he expected to get out there and make the cut and possibly be a contender. I mean, you're right. He's the number one player in the world. He's won the Masters before. He should have had a good shot at this. And, maybe it just wasn't his week. Like, that happens a lot. You just sometimes conditions are really hard. You're not prepared and things go wrong. But I think certainly, like, not even making the cut to the biggest tournament on the PGA Tour is going to be a big push for him, like a big encouragement, I guess, for him to get better, play better, and then come back to the next major and try to win that one.
Awesome. Great stuff.
Completely agree.
Alex, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I wish you the best of luck in your season. You guys play this spring, right? You guys are playing right now?
Yeah, we have our first tournament on Sunday, so.
Awesome. Well, best of luck with that, and thank you very much for joining us and breaking down the Masters.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, last night, that man, Steph Curry, he was back at it again. 53 points, no big deal. Beat the Nuggets, no big deal. And he broke Wilt Chamberlain's points record with the Golden State Warriors. No big deal. This guy does it again and again. Nobody's surprised. I'm not surprised. Chris, you surprised?
Not really.
Luke, you surprised?
I think he should be upset with himself that he only scored 5 points in crunch time.
Yeah, okay, sure. What were they up by?
I think he had a disgraceful. I think he had a disgraceful fourth. I think he had a disgraceful fourth quarter. He was the reason why the Nuggets were able to stay in this game last night, and that's why Jamal Murray consequentially just tore his ACL. We don't like to see injuries in the NBA, so I blame Steph Curry.
All right, well, I blame your ignorance because they were winning by like 20 points the whole game, and then he comes in.
Steph Curry kept them in.
They cut it to 9, and then he hits free throws at the end of the game to put them up by like 10 or whatever they won by. No,
Jamal Murray tears his ACL.
But here's something I was contemplating last night and a little bit this morning. So I was thinking, like, okay, most impactful players in the game. We got LeBron, we got KD, maybe James Harden, Jokic, right?
Butler.
Embiid, Butler. There's a lot of impactful players in the game. But I am inclined to say at this point in his career and with what he's done this season, most definitely on the offensive end, but I think Steph Curry might be the most impactful player in the NBA right
now. Yeah.
I
can't deny it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to deny, but the Warriors are 26 and 28. Well, I mean, let's not act like they're the best team in the league. I mean, he's not like he's going to lead him to the losing in the play-in game. I mean,
but the thing is, like, look at where they are without him. Like,
I will say,
what's that?
I'm not a big LeBron, Mickey James fan, but I mean, look at what's happened with the Lakers.
They just blew out the Nets. That Warriors team without Steph would never come close to doing that.
Kyrie gets thrown out in the third quarter. Come on.
So what? KD's still playing, isn't he?
Yeah, with who? Like, come on.
Who are the Lakers playing?
They blew out the Nets. They won one game in the NBA. The Nets were out late at the nightclub the night before. Who cares? It happens in the NBA all the time.
Okay, then who cares about these games that the Warriors are playing?
Steph Curry, in my opinion, is the greatest point guard to ever play basketball. It's not something I'm trying to deny here. I'm just saying it's a claim that is backed up just through a couple games of him scoring a lot of points. And I get all the stats. You got the Warriors having the worst.
What are you saying? What do you say? A couple games? Come on, Luke.
It's nice. He scores a lot of points. He has a good impact on the game. It's just like they are
offensive efficiency numbers, the assist numbers, all of it.
Numbers.
What do you want to look at then?
Watch the games. He throws up some bad shots sometimes.
That too. What are you talking about?
It's going to be 50, 40, 90. I don't know. Like, it's not like he's just.
No, I'm not trying to come at Steph Curry here. I'm just saying we need to back up a little bit and look at the Warriors' record here, and also notice that, like, they're not the best team right now, and Steph Curry's done everything he can for this team. I don't know. I would not put him in LeBron James category as impactful.
I mean, the reason they lose, this guy's like plus 10 every game they lose. The reason they lose is because that second unit. It's ridiculous. Probably bottom 5 in the league. I mean,
I
you
get
can't
it.
put that on Steph when he's not playing and they're sucking.
Oh, I get it. It's just like this is like what most people say about LeBron James when he's on these bad teams, like early in his career and in 2018 and 2019. These are the same things that people talk about with LeBron.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
I mean,
But I disregard that because those are stupid arguments, right? I mean, what's he going to do? He can only do so much, right? But you look at what he does when he's out there compared to when he's not out there. And then what he's doing when he is, I mean, he is probably, I can say with confidence, the most impactful player on offense. On defense, obviously, no. But overall, he's top 3 most impactful in the NBA right now.
you're gonna call me biased here because this is one of my favorite players in the NBA. But I'm gonna go with Jimmy Butler as a more impactful player. You look at what he's done this year.
Segment.
Yeah, roll the
I'll talk
segment.
about the Celtics here.
Dude, you look at
the Nuggets.
What's the Heat's record when Jimmy Butler's playing?
I don't know, but the Heat are 28 and 26 and got a Mickey Mouse bubble finals appearance.
But
So.
when Jimmy Butler's in though, what's their record?
Yeah, but what are his numbers when he's in as well? They're not as crazy as Steph's.
But you're talking about impactful. You're talking about impactful. I don't care about his crazy
Impactful when he's out there, and then also impactful in terms of what's the
You're
difference.
talk about a guy like Patrice Bergeron here on the Bruins. He's an impactful player who doesn't have the stats. He's probably one of the most impactful centers in the NHL, but he's not in the top 10 centers discussion. Like, come on.
Yeah, because the difference when he's on and off is large, but his individual, what he's bringing every single game with his numbers isn't there. But Steph has both of those going for him in a crazy way.
Sure, then. It's fine.
Just a quick word on the Celtics before we move on. I'm not going to say anything yet, but they are playing a little bit better. They actually closed the game the other day. It was impressive. You know, something we don't usually see. Like, that was a good win in Denver, 31-8 in the fourth quarter. I will say this is breaking news from the Straight Out the Loop podcast. Another win or two, and I will be unblocking them on social media.
Wow.
That's all I will say.
Wow. Okay. Big news. Big news. All right, in the MLB, the Sox are hot. 7 in a row at this point after today's win, I believe. Seven. Let's talk about the Sox for a quick second, and then we're going to get into these MLB power rankings, which at the moment are an absolute joke. But let's talk Sox.
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox are the best team in Major League Baseball. There's no really I don't think there's really any argument here. Best offense in baseball, you look at what Bogarts and Martinez and Vasquez are doing so far, and you even get contributions from the bottom of the lineup today. Hunter Renfroe and Bobby Dalbec, good games. Rotation, they got 5 solid guys. Hopefully Sale comes back, and they got Tanner Houck. And, Matt Barnes has been pitching pretty well. The bullpen's okay. I mean, I don't see them losing a game the rest of the season. I mean, I think Luke agrees with me here. 159-3. We thought maybe one loss because of the loss of Zhu-Wei Lin in the offseason. Or I don't even know. He might be in Worcester. I don't know. But he's not on the team, and it's a devastating loss. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Chris here. I don't really see a clear path to them losing again this season. We said it last week. We're back again. This team is, as we've seen from last year to this year, this team centers around the way JD Martinez and Rafael Devers hit the baseball. I truly believe that. If they can hit the baseball well, it turns the whole lineup around, gives confidence to the other players. We've seen that early on this year. It's been fantastic. Pitching staff's been pretty solid so far. Garrett Richards is a bum. I'm sure they'll be looking to move on from him, though, once Chris Sale returns, if he does. But, yeah, a lot of promise with the Red Sox. I would say they're the best team in baseball right now. I do agree. Long way to go, though. So, I would be surprised if they aren't 159-3. But as Chris touched on, Zhu-Wei Lin was an impactful player for the Red Sox in the past, and it was a little bit of a blow to see him not on the active roster this year, whether we don't know where he is.
The Sox are hot. But let's get into these power rankings here. So the MLB's got the Dodgers at 1, fair. Padres 2, yep. Yankees 3, that's where the controversy begins right there. And then we have Twins 4, solid team. Astros 5, and then 6 Braves, 7 White Sox, 8 Reds, 9 Rays, and 10 Mets. So I have problems here with the Reds, the Rays, the Mets, and then the Yankees at 3 after their abysmal start. I think, as Noah Timmer, great guy, great mind, great pitcher, as he said, at least the Twins move up to 3, Yankees to 4. Probably the Astros as well. And then the Mets, Rays, and Reds. The Rays suck. Last year, Mickey Mouse, they just got swept by the Red Sox, excuse me.
Yeah, and they took
the best team in baseball.
They
Yeah,
took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees.
The Yankees are having a tough start.
So the Rays are better than the Yankees.
No. But they are not a top 10 team, the Rays.
That's
Most
ridiculous.
definitely not. Most definitely not. But see, this is what the MLB does. They do this thing where you obviously are going to promote these big market teams. Every year you always see the Dodgers at the top. You always see the Yankees at the top. And, you know, they're respectable takes just because of the look of the team. But they never, ever pan out because these teams don't have chemistry. They're just, you know, they're always missing a piece or two. But the big names carry them to the top, at least when the MLB ranks them in their power rankings, right? And then you have the Rays. This pisses me off because in baseball, you see teams go from World Series to bust every year. And right now, all signs point towards the Rays being bust this year. In my opinion, from everything I've seen, from the pitchers leaving, the shaky offense, the weird Kevin Cash analytics, all that cost them games, cost them the World Series. They're set up for a bust season. And right now, they're number 9. They're number 9 just because they made an appearance in the 60-game season World Series. I think it's ridiculous.
Don't listen to this. Don't listen to this ridiculousness on the Rays. I do have a problem with these rankings though because they are a little inconsistent. So if you want to keep the top teams at the top just because we've only played 10 games, fine. That's fine. But why are we going to start skyrocketing teams like the Reds into the top 10? Like, be consistent. You're either going to react to these 10 games or you're not going to because if the Reds are in the top 10, the Red Sox should be in the top 10, the Giants should be in the top 10. I mean, what are we doing here? Just be consistent.
I agree. There's no consistency. That's what it is. He got it right there.
I will say here on you guys about touching on the Yankees. I mean, I hate the Yankees more than anybody in the world, but I'm not ready to jump ship on the Yankees either. So I'm not going to get on the MLB power rankings for putting them at 3. You can clearly tell that they have a really good team. They've had this core for a little bit now. You mentioned about chemistry. There doesn't really seem to be chemistry problems on the Yankees. More so in the past, it's just been like guys have been hot at different times, injury plagued. That's my main argument for the Yankees. I don't think Yankees fans should be concerned about the future for them. No. I wouldn't be concerned. Minnesota at 4 is a little bit high for me. I watched them play today. A little bit high for me. Just no, like there's not that guy on that team where it's like, oh, we're playing the Twins. We're playing like you're playing the Twins. Like
Nelson Cruz didn't play today. Yeah. He didn't play today.
Designated hitter, I get it. He's a good player, but you know, it's not a guy you're gonna come in like, oh man, we're playing Cruz. It's one of those guys you'd be like, oh, we're playing. You consider Nelson Cruz a guy that like is just an all-time superstar?
Not all time, but as of the last couple years, yes.
He's barely a top 50 player in the MLB.
Oh, come on, Luke.
Right now?
Yeah, he's barely a top 50 player. He's in the 40s.
Oh no! Oh boy! No, that's real bad.
Nelson Cruz?
Yeah, just look at the numbers. Through the roof. I just have one thing on the Yankees. I think their rotation blows. Outside of Garrett Cole, I have no faith in anybody in this rotation. And Domingo Germán was supposed to be the savior and come back and be great. And they set him down because he was pitching so bad. So he's not there. They lost Tanaka in the offseason. He retired or went back to Japan or something. So I'm not – the rotation sucks. They have to hit their way to win the World Series if they're going to do it.
Yeah.
That, based on the rest of these rankings here, I think Chris touched on it beautifully with the Reds. If you're going to reward teams for having hot starts that were located low in the standings like the Reds, like I have a problem with the Red Sox not being here.
Well, I remember last year the Reds had a lot of hype. I mean, maybe that's carrying over to this year. They have a decent roster. Got some hitters. Castellanos, he's in there. They got some arms. I mean, obviously losing Bauer, that's huge. But they're still a solid team, not where they are in these rankings by any means. I mean, I it should be the Sox. If you're going to get all reactionary on me, then it should be the Sox.
Yeah, I just feel like the White Sox have been penalized a little bit too much here. I just don't understand what their standard is for ranking these teams. Like, there have been multiple rankings that have made a lot of sense to me, one being the Universal Quarterbacks list that's been very consistent with their takes and very prominent, very straightforward. But this list just doesn't do it for me. Hopefully they come back next week with something better.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, NHL trade deadline was this week. Taylor Hall from the Buffalo Sabres to the Boston Bruins. I believe they're playing right now.
Yeah, he's had a couple nice shifts so far. This team sucks. I mean, they lost 8-1 on Sunday to the Capitals. I'm happy with the move. They finally taken an initiative. They just scored. David Krejci, Taylor Hall's first point is a. Oh wait, no, it wasn't on the ice. My bad. That's maybe why they scored. But I like the addition of Taylor Hall because it gives the Bruins. It gives them more upside and more ceiling than with these guys like DeBrusk and Ritchie, who we already know what they are. We know Taylor Hall's an MVP player. We're going to take a chance on him. We're only paying half of the salary. If he returns to form, it's a steal. If he is what he is, he is what it is. We don't have anything better than that right now. You know what I mean? His bottom is just as good as like DeBrusk's and the Bjorks and all them of the world. So I like the risk that we're taking here. It's as Felger and Maz were discussing the other day, there's definitely a risk in it. But honestly, I think it's very minimal because he's either going to be gone for this year or we can re-sign him based on his production. So I'm pretty excited for this playoff run. I'm still not writing them off yet. They're definitely in a tough position, and they're not making any strong cases for anybody to be like this team can make a push. But it's exciting. Hopefully they can do something here and get hot with some momentum playing the Sabres the next couple weeks.
Yeah, quick word on that. No, I agree with Luke. The move it's fine. I mean, if he turns to form, that's great. And Bjork sucks, so they really got rid of nothing. But for all the Bruins fans, I think this guy is going to be like Wayne Gretzky on the Bruins. Let's just read off some stats. Taylor Hall has 2 goals this season in 37 games. Luke's 3 favorite players here: Charlie Coyle, Jake DeBrusk, and Nick Ritchie.
Yeah.
Charlie Coyle, 5 goals. That's more than 2.
Hasn't scored in 19 games.
Jake DeBrusk, 4 goals. And he's only played 26 games.
Is that more than 2?
That is more than 2.
Okay.
10. Nick Ritchie has 5 times the goals as Taylor Hall this season. He has 10. Unbelievable. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it was the Sabres effect. But for all the Bruins fans out there that are all excited, I hold your excitement. Just wait.
I agree. No, I do agree. I mean, obviously, as a fan, I'm going to be excited. Just, it's just a general natural reaction. But, yeah, the stats are definitely not lying right there. He's had a terrible season. But in general, I like the move. This guy's performed at a high level his whole career. This is the first time we've seen him at a bad level. So, really, if he wants to be here. He's said a lot to the media these past couple of days that have been very promising for the Bruins front office. He wants to be here long term. I don't know about that just yet for the Bruins. That's a big commitment, but it's exciting. It gives a little more juice around the team, more talent for sure. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. They're a good team. They're good. They potentially could be great. They just don't want to go to that level for some reason.
No, for sure. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Straight Out the Loop. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on the next one.